Hey guys, it's Flip. Sometimes I get tired of carrying around my air compressor every time I need to top off a tire. So I decided to try out Ryobi's new Inflator Deflator. So here's my review on Ryobi's 18 volt Inflator Deflator, model number P747. So first I'm going to go over the specs of this thing with you, and then I'll show it to you in use and do a couple time tests. So first of all, it's got an 18 volt DC motor in it. It's got a high pressure low volume side and a low pressure high volume side. The low pressure hose, when you take it off, it's 1 foot long, and the high pressure hose is 2 feet long. With the low pressure side, you can use this as an inflator or a deflator. When you take the low pressure hose, you can put it into this side port and it will act as a deflator. It will suck air in like a vacuum. And if you take this and put it onto this top port, there's a tab here and a notch that you slide it down and turn it clockwise. Then this will act as an inflator. So essentially it is drawing air in here like a vacuum and blowing it out the top port. With the high pressure side, this side will act as an inflator but not a deflator. It will inflate bike tires and car tires up to 150 psi, and it comes with a screw-on threaded air chuck as opposed to the clamp-on style air chucks that the old models came with. It does come with several accessories built into the side here. You have a tapered adapter for pinch valves with inflatables. You have a Presta valve adapter for Presta valve stems. And then you have a sports ball needle for filling up your sports balls. Now I've got a 4 amp hour battery in here right now, and that actually floats above the table here, and it's actually standing on the legs of the unit. But if you put a bigger battery in here, such as a 6 amp hour, it'll actually sit on the battery if you have it upright like that. And if you're inflating a tire, it's going to dance around on you a little bit. So it's actually meant to lay down flat on its back like this. And it even has 3 little rubberized mats, or legs if you want to call them that. And it's meant to lay like that, and that'll keep it from dancing around on you while you're filling up a tire. So how's this thing operate? To make it work, first you turn on the power by pressing the power/mode button right here, and that's going to turn on your digital readout gauge. Then you have to select the low pressure side that has the air mattress on it, or the high pressure side that has the tire on it. So you just press this mode button, and you probably won't be able to see this on the camera, but it's got an arrow and it'll point left or right. You press it again, goes over there to the right. When you have it on low pressure, you'll notice that there's no numbers on the screen because you fill things manually. When you flip it over to the high pressure side, it gives you numbers, and you can actually press the plus or minus button here and set a predetermined PSI for how full you want something to be inflated to. After setting that predetermined PSI, you can then press the start button, and it will run until it fills to that amount, and then it will shut itself off. So that is a nice feature that you can just set it off and let it run until it's full. Now there is a catch, because you can't necessarily just let this thing run and then go to another part of the house and forget about it, because it does have a 5-minute max run time. You could probably run it a little longer than that, but that's what the manual recommends, because it will overheat. So it is meant to be run for 5 minutes and then to cool for 5 minutes. So really you can set it and walk away as long as you make sure you're back at the 5-minute mark. That way it's not going to overheat on you and be putting hot air and condensation into your tire. So that is the catch with a lot of these inflators, is that they can only run for so long before they overheat. So for this one, it's 5 minutes of run time, then you have to let it cool off for 5 minutes. So because of that necessary cool-off time, this makes this a tool that is not really meant to replace your air compressor. It's really a tool for convenience when you need to top off a car tire or fill a bicycle or motorcycle tire or inflatables or an air mattress. It's a great tool for that purpose, but it's not really meant to replace an air compressor. If your car has a TPMS light that keeps coming on, this is a good tool to top off the tire to get that light off and get your tires back safe for the road. Because of that 5-minute run time, it's not really meant for filling multiple tires back to back from flat to full. So now let's see this thing in action and do a couple time tests. So as you can see, I'm starting with a low pressure test. I've got my phone running with the stopwatch, and we're going to see how long it takes to fill up this air mattress. So here you go. It took 1 minute 21 seconds to fill up this queen air mattress. Now I'm going to deflate the air mattress and we'll see how long that takes. It took us 1 minute and 34 seconds to take the air out. So next I'll show you a high pressure test on my van tires. So sometimes I get my TPMS light coming on in the winter like this. And here's what I currently have to do every time I want to fill one of my tires. I've got to carry my air compressor out because I really don't have enough room for a permanent home for it in my garage. Some guys have a nice permanent setup with their hose on a wheel, and I just don't have room for it. So now I've got to untangle my hose and get it all plugged in, and then find my box of attachments and get it all set up to put air in the tires. Then I can actually get the tires back to where they need to be. Now this is a little easier. I just snap a battery in, walk out to my tire, take off the valve stem cap, screw it on, and I'm ready to go. Now I'll show you how long it takes. So first let's check what our pressure says here with our gauge. We got about 29 pounds. So we got our inflator hooked up now. We'll see how it compares in measuring the PSI of the tire. So we'll press the power button. And it says 28.5, so pretty close. So we just want to make sure it's on the high pressure side, which we have our arrow pointing to the right. If you wanted to switch it, you just press the mode button and that'll switch it over here. Then we're going to set our predetermined desired PSI. So I'm going to set this up to 35, and then we'll press start and see how long it takes. All right, so about 1 minute and 50 seconds to fill it from 28.5 to 35 PSI. Now let's check and see how the reading measures up to my other gauge. So we got about 35, pretty much right on. One interesting note is that after topping off 2 tires, the battery still has all 4 bars. So it took a little bit longer than an air compressor, which is common sense. But my takeaway is that it's going to save you time in setup, and it's going to save your back if you're used to lugging around an air compressor. So to me, it's a good purchase. I'll put a link down below the video if you want to check these out. That's it. Thanks for watching. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.